Welcome to the Game of Inches Basketball News Channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about three important news stories that we thought were relevant for today. The first one is going to be Kawhi Leonard and Paul George enjoy winning in their return for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah, I believe it's definitely huge for the Clippers to get both of their star players back, especially with George. He's averaging 23.4 points per game this year. And in the games he played before he was out, he was doing really well, helping them win games and having big games for them. And yeah, as you previously mentioned, they're right now 6th in the West. And as long as they continue to play good with both players back, I believe they can move up. And also, I really want to see them play a full season together, Kawhi and both Paul George, because in that first season, of course, Paul George struggled a little bit, especially in the playoffs. And like this year, once the playoffs roll around and both of them is healthy and ready to go, I really believe they can have a great chance at the NBA championship this year. And, go ahead and pass it off to you, Kevin.
All right, so they have dealt with injuries very frequently over the last couple years, and what I think is the biggest takeaway out of the beginning of the season, so last season when they got injured, it was a great chance for Reggie Jackson to show the world that he still deserved to be a starting point guard in the league, and the Clippers definitely got a lot of value out of him, as he was one of those players that a lot of people were questioning if he was still able to play in the league. So last year he proved that. So this year, with Kawhi and PG out to start the year, for most of the year at least, Zubac has actually shown that he has stepped his game up in a major way. He had a game the other day where he had 39 points and 27 rebounds. So he is proving that he is an outstanding player all in his own right. So I think a lot of these players are able to show what they can do, and now you can put the whole thing together and see how far they can go. So it'll be exciting to watch. So what do you guys think about how far they are going to make it into the playoffs this year?
They can stay healthy. I feel like they can make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I agree.
My two picks for the West are going to be the Nuggets and the Suns, but they might get matched up in an earlier round. So if that's the case, I think the Clippers are a top team in the West, but I don't think they're one of the top two teams. All right, so in this article, we're also going to be looking at another return from injury, this time in the East. And we're going to be looking at James Harden scores 21 points in his return to the 76ers as they lose in a double overtime. And he did score 21 points, but it was on pretty bad shooting. So just take note of that. But with that being said, what do you think, DeMarcus?
At this point in his career, he's pretty much up and down as far as like stat-wise, because some games he just have an amazing game. Other games, it'd be, I guess, you would think 21 points is good, but like Sixers right now is 7th in the East. I feel like they really need to improve. And then B, he's putting up MVP numbers as always. And I believe they just really need to get on the run. They lost 3 straight. Now I'm going to pass it off because this baby is getting cranky.
All right, I'm going to hop in second this time. So I think best case scenario this year for the 76ers would have a James Harden returning, maybe not trying to take on too much of the offensive scoring responsibilities as himself. So to start the year, you've had really nice production from both Shake Milton and Tyrese Maxey when he was healthy. So you do have a lot of scoring coming from your bench guards. So you do have a lot of other options on the 76ers team that can put the ball in the basket and score. So what James Harden provides to the team that they don't really have is that playmaking ability. So I think best case scenario, James Harden tries to adopt a Tyrese Halliburton style of role, where he's that really efficient playmaker for the 76ers and doesn't really try to take on too much of the scoring responsibilities, because I think he's been on and off, and he's getting a little bit older and not quite as quick as he used to be. So I think his scoring isn't quite what it used to be. So I hope he's not trying to go out and score 40 points a night and actually gets his teammates involved a little bit more, because that's what he is one of the best players in history at doing. So Corey, what do you think?
21 points is good for any other player, but for James Harden, that is like, I think that's an underperformance. 4 for 19. I don't know. James Harden is just a mixed bundle of thoughts in my head. It's like okay, great. He's a good shooter. He doesn't play defense, and then I see something like this where it's just like, oh, he's not shooting well either. Okay. I don't know. James Harden, I can never predict what James Harden's going to do other than the fact that I know he's not going to play defense.
Yeah, he's terrible at defense, and honestly, ever since he left the Rockets, his offensive production has kind of fallen off.
Well, I don't know if he's bad at defense. I don't think he gives a shit. I don't think he fucking tries.
His commitment to play has dropped too since he left the Rockets.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he showed up to the Brooklyn Nets way overweight the year after, so you could tell he didn't take that offseason serious, and he's been one step behind ever since. So I don't see him as the scoring guard that he used to be. I still see him as one of the best playmakers in the league. So if he can take his strengths and utilize them effectively and allow Tyrese Maxey and Shake Milton to help offensively score the ball, he could have a season like Tyrese Halliburton as one of the most efficient playmakers of all time with what he's doing, you know? Tyrese Halliburton's assisting on 51% of his offensive plays. That is something James Harden can do, and it would lead to a lot of wins for the 76ers.
Yeah, and they need that because Maxey, he's averaging 22.9 points per game. But as a team, the Sixers, they're averaging, for points per game, they're averaging 109, and that's 27th in the league. They're averaging 39.9 rebounds per game. That's 29th in the league. And at assists per game, they're averaging 23.3, which is 24th. So they really need to get those numbers up. And like you said, Kevin, yeah, maybe James Harden still focus on playmaking. And that will make it easier for the guys out there to score and possibly help them win games.
Regarding the rebounding stat you just mentioned, too, Embiid was out for most of the year, so he will help with that. So
yeah, like once he's fully
that leaves assists and playmaking as their one weak point, which James Harden.
I mean, it's still pretty early in the year, but yeah, they really need to get those stats up, though, because that's like near the bottom of the 29th is down there like last. That's near the bottom of the league.
All right, so in this article, we're going to be taking a look at the Pacers rookie Andrew Nembhard upstages Stephen Curry with performance he will never forget. And Nembhard has been injured for quite a while now, so he is now in the first stages of returning from that injury. So
I think he had an amazing performance last night, dropping 31 on the team like Golden State with Stephen Curry out there, and he's shooting 61% from the field, 5 for 7 from the 3 line. Like when you playing this team like Golden State, you got to knock down those threes. And although you say he was out for most of the year, I believe this game is pretty big for his confidence. It's better than that confidence as a rookie. Right now, he's only averaging 9 points per game, but like if he continues to play like this and put up big numbers, he could definitely be in being contention of winning Rookie of the Year this year. I believe Indiana picks up a good player in the draft.
Well, one note I did read before we started recording, he was playing without Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner. But it's if you're getting put in the same headline as Stephen Curry for like how well you're doing, you know you're doing something right. I don't know, like for me the Pacers have always just been like that meh team. They've always just been kind of there. So, I mean, other than having players like Paul George at the time, but I think the Pacers are getting better purely because just like I know more than 2 players on the team. And if I'm able to understand that, I think that means the Pacers are doing something right.
So what I think is, I agree with Corey. The fact that it was able to take place with Tyrese Halliburton out with injury says a lot about the depth of the team.
Exactly.
So Tyrese Halliburton is having a historic year when it comes to his efficient playmaking, his assist-to-turnover ratio, his assist rate, just everything you look at advanced stat-wise. It is a legendary year when it comes to playmaking. So he's out, and they just got their Nembhard back, so he's playing really well. And I think the other thing to pay attention to is the Pacers have one of the best young teams in the league. They also have Benedict Mathurin, who is leading the rookie rankings for Rookie of the Year. So he is even ahead of Paolo Banchero, who was the #1 pick with the Magic and who is having an outstanding year in his own right. The Pacers are going to be a team to pay attention to moving forward. They will be good. So What do you guys think about the Pacers' future? Do you see them being in title contention within the next 5 years? If not 5, what about 10?
Say about 3 to 5 years. And also they might be a team to watch out for in the playoffs. Because you always get that one team that'll upset the like the favorite. Pacers might be one of them.
Their average age,
7 games.
Their average age is 25.08.
And you know, with them young teams, they like to run.
Oh yeah.
I think the downfall of the Pacers is their perimeter defense. They have outstanding defense with Miles Turner inside, but when it comes to that perimeter defense, they're not quite as great yet. So I think they get better with time as the players they have get more mature, but I think that's going to be something that a lot of teams would really be able to take advantage of in the playoffs, because you end up saving your best offensive sets for the playoffs so that you can catch teams off guard and win the games when they actually matter. So when you're running your best plays with your best players, you know, you need that perimeter defense to be able to stop them from scoring at will in the playoffs. So I think that's going to be something that turns into their Achilles heel.
Maybe this season, but like the one thing that do make teams and players good, especially young players, is that playoff experience. So if they can, like, because right now they're in the 5th or in the Eastern Conference, if they could stay into this in the playoff push and make the playoffs, that experience is going to help them out a lot moving forward.
So the Pacers average, like, out of all the players they have, their average of like experience in the NBA is only 3 seasons, compared to Milwaukee, who's have the average of 7.2 years per player and experience in the league. So I think if the Pacers are able to keep the same people they have, or they're able to either build around the core that they have or continue to strengthen the people that they have right now, I think they'll be Stanley Cup contenders. God damn it. NBA fucking... Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
So I think that wraps it up with all the interesting NBA news for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will catch you in the next episode of the Game of Inches basketball news.
Bum, bum, bum.